Good evening and welcome to this evening's Member Spotlight brought to you by Brentwood Chamber of Commerce. My name's Colin Barber, I'm the Chairman of Brentwood Chamber of Commerce, and it's my pleasure to host this evening's Member Spotlight. And our guest this evening is Carl Roberts from Hallmark Care Homes, who we'll be talking to very, very shortly. I'd like to welcome you all and I thank you all very much for joining us and hope you find this evening's webinar interesting and informative. As I say, I'm the chairman of Brentwood Chamber of Commerce, but I also run a business called The Management Mechanic, and which is actually a training business, coaching and consultancy specialising in the application of psychology in business. My main area of focus is helping you to understand how people work. So it's particularly interesting for me to be able to host these member spotlights and get to know a little bit more about the members of the Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to thank you very much for joining us and just explain a little bit about how it works. It's basically going to last about half an hour. I'm going to be chatting to Carl and find out a little bit more about Hallmark Care Homes. And Carl is the customer relationship manager for Hallmark, and he'll be telling us a little bit more about his job and his background. If you do have any questions for Carl, then feel free to type any questions in. If you look on your screen, there should be a Q&A button normally at the bottom of your screen. If you've got a question, if you just type it in, and then I can put your questions to Carl on your behalf, either as and when you send them in or at the end of the webinar. So feel free to type in questions at any time. If there's anything else you want to say to us, then feel free to use the chat button and I will endeavour to monitor that as well. One other point to mention to you is that this evening's webinar is being recorded and it will be uploaded to the Chamber of Commerce YouTube page and Facebook page sometime tomorrow. So if you'd like to watch it again, or if you've got any friends or colleagues who weren't able to join us this evening, then do mention that to them and there will be a chance to watch this evening's webinar, where you will also find all the previous Chamber of Commerce member spotlights which we've run as well, which is a great way for finding out a little bit more about some of the other members of the Brentwood Chamber of Commerce. So let me introduce you to this evening's guest, Carl. Are you there, Carl?
Hi, Colin. Hello. I should have worn the same suit in the same position and just come to life, I feel, my little profile picture there. But no, thanks for having me this evening.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, excellent. Good. So welcome, Carl, and it's good to have you with us this evening. And we're going to have a chat to you about, well, a little bit about yourself maybe, but also about Hallmark Care Homes. And first of all, the reason why you've recently joined the Chamber of Commerce and why you're on the spotlight is because you're very, very shortly opening up a new care home in Hutton. So perhaps before you tell us about the home, could you just tell us why Hutton? Was there a particular reason why that location was chosen?
Yeah, we as a family-owned business, we're based in Borough as our central support office, and the family are all based around this area. So we've got a real connection to the areas of sort of Basildon Borough and Brentwood Borough. And we really noticed, you know, through a lot of research and many years in the area, a real sort of need for high quality, relationship-centered care. There's no secret that social care is very much at the forefront of many people's minds currently, and there is an increasing demand as the population gets older for higher quality care services. And you know, Hutton's a fantastic little sort of quasi-town village, and it's the site that we're building on is a great location. You know, we can, you know, residents will be able to wander down to the high streets and you know, potentially, you know, when the pandemic passes, get a train into London. So, you know, it's centrally based and provides a lot of opportunity to really be part of the community there. So.
Okay, for those of you who don't know the location, it's where the old fire brigade headquarters used to be, is that correct?
Yes, it is. So yeah, that was a fire. Well, before it was the fire headquarters, I understand from one of our future residents is that it was an old fire station first, and then became the headquarters. And a sort of a fun fact, as it were, the actual sort of brickwork that we're using in the colour and the design of the building is a bit of a homage to what was there originally. So we try and be sort of sensitive to the sort of surrounding areas in terms of those builds there, and we're playing with a few ideas around who we might invite to you know, open the home officially, and we're thinking, you know, something to do with the fire service as a potential nod as well. So yeah, there's a lot of history there which we want to honour.
Okay, so presumably you've knocked down the old building and built a completely new building, is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we build all of our care homes from scratch, and the design and build company Savista, which is all part of the same family, we own, and from the moment that pencil hits the drawing paper, we are fully choosing what we want, and obviously to achieve the incredible environments, we have to obviously remove what's on the site.
Yeah, okay. So before we go on to find out a little bit more about yourself, Carl, just tell us a bit more about Hallmark. So you're a family-owned business, you say, but you've got several care homes already, is that correct?
Yeah. So Hutton's going to be the 13th care home in England, and then there's a handful of care homes over in Wales as well, so about 20 in the group altogether. And we've been operating for about 23 years, founded by Agnes Goyle and the family.
And are they all sort of run along similar lines, or are they different styles for different areas, or is it all pretty much the same?
So every home is unique. Every home looks different and feels different. And over the years, as we've built each care home, we've learned something new. So every home is an evolution and iteration of the previous, and it's just getting better and better. But in terms of the quality of care and the approach to care, it's consistent across all those homes there. It's we have a vision, and that is to be the leading provider of high quality relationship centered care for all residents.
So you're definitely aiming for the top end of the market. Would that be true to say?
Yeah, I mean, if we're able to play my video a little bit later, you can see from the quality of environment, it's very much at that high end of things. Yeah, it's all about quality of care, quality of environment, and quality of life ultimately.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay, good. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, Carl. How long have you been with Hallmark, and how did you come to join Hallmark?
So I've only been with Hallmark a few years, but it feels a lot longer. We've achieved so much over that time, and I'm so proud to be part of a really innovative and driven business. But before that, I guess I'm a similar story to many people out there. I went to university, I studied a degree, and now I'm working in an area completely different to what I studied in. It tends to be the story of many people. But my original professional background was in financial services, both in retail and also in conferences and investments. So a bit varied in that regard. Used to run conferences for ultra high net worth families around governance and sort of investment management, next generation education, that sort of thing. Then did a short spell as an investment analyst, investment marketing for 5-star hotels and commercial property in Germany. We called it the ABBA strategy. So A properties and B cities, and B cities with A properties. So yeah, quite interesting. But we had my wife unfortunately became unwell, and I came out of London, and it was just, I guess, good timing that Hallmark had a position as the position I'm in now, and it just fitted so well with my community work as well. It's just a real good blend.
So it sounds like the job found you rather than you finding the job. Is that?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in fate and the universe. So it was the right time. And as I say, we do a lot of community work, in my personal life, and the ability to do that, alongside commissioning some incredible homes and meeting some of the most amazing people through our residents. It's just, never look back.
And in your previous career, are there, although you say it was a different career, different type of work, are there things that you learned there which you found useful and I think you've been able to apply in your current role?
Yeah, I mean, like as we call Hallmark, and the way that we, every home is an iteration. We learn something new. It was the same, obviously, in the earlier parts of the first, I guess, decade of my working life. Everything we've done is, been building to this, from sales, marketing, and the short spell as an analyst. So, yeah.
Good. And I know you've got a particular interest in dementia and increasing people's awareness of dementia. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you do in that field?
Yeah, so through Hallmark, we set up the Billericay Dementia Action Alliance back in the summer of 2018, and with the real purpose to create a truly dementia-friendly community. So working with lots of local businesses and community groups and residents, both affected by and living with dementia, to try and make Billericay a really inclusive and accessible place to live. And because of the success we had in Billericay, we were then asked to support the launch of both the Basildon Dementia Action Alliance and then the Brentwood Dementia Action Alliance at the end of last year, and that was officially launched this year. And some of the projects that Hallmark has been commissioning through these Dementia Action Alliances has been, we started the Dementia Friendly Schools Awards in Billericay, and this particular project encourages schools to spend a couple of years looking at different ways that they can support their students who might be affected by dementia within their family, and raise awareness through those that aren't, and then utilising their connections with us as a local care home and the local memory cafes to get those pupils in to actually meet people and do activities and experience and form relationships, really. Because I think as it was back in the 80s and 90s, the C word, cancer, was terrifying to everyone, and obviously it still is now, but there's been so much awareness raised over those decades that there's a lot more confidence around having surviving and having a quality of life with that diagnosis. But because dementia is so misunderstood still, there is a big stigma. So by raising awareness and removing that stigma, it will help drive positivity and encourage people to be more open and honest and have that conversation. So with Hutton View, our intention through the Brentwood Dementia Action Alliance is to really drive a Hutton and Shenfield and eventually Brentwood Dementia Friendly Schools Awards. We are speaking to the Alzheimer's Society about launching a dementia hub at the home, so that local residents who are living out in the community can come to the home and speak to the Alzheimer's Society, speak to our care team who are experts, and really just get the support that they need. It's World Alzheimer's World Alzheimer's Day on Monday, and we're actually putting out a video with some key messages of dementia to help raise awareness and understanding. It's a massive part of what we're trying to help with locally.
Yeah, very good. So the Brentwood Dementia Action Alliance, is that run as a charity, or is that funded by Hallmark, or how does it work? It's
an action group, so it's a series of, there's Hallmark, there's Home Instead, there's Right at Home, there's local care agencies, there's Brentwood Council, there's there's florists, there's insurance brokers. It's lots of different people. Who are just committing to make very small changes to their business, very small changes to the way that they think and talk about dementia as people, to help residents living in the borough to remain included, both in person, being able to access services, and included in the conversation.
Yeah, so obviously the interaction with the community is a very important part of your philosophy. Yeah.
Yes,
I can see the passion and the enthusiasm in your voice for your role. So tell us a little bit more about your job itself on a sort of day-to-day basis. I mean, obviously, probably presume it's changed because of Corona, but what's your actual role consist of on a day-to-day or weekly basis?
So, I guess the title of customer relationship manager is somewhat ambiguous, because it's such a varied role with many different nuances. But in its essence, I support families on their journey into care. So if you were to call up the care home, if you were to call up Hutton View, inquiring and having questions about care for a loved one or a friend, you would be speaking to me first, and I would be providing as much support and guidance and advice as possible to help you on that journey. We would be speaking regularly. I'd be making referrals to local support groups, to local healthcare professionals, really guiding you on that journey, along into care. Now, obviously, Hallmark and we are a business, so there is the intention that journey will end up with us at Hutton View, as the pinnacle of care in the community. We hope that our home would speak for itself. But ultimately, as we're all carers. Yes, I'm in a commercial role. Yes, I wear a suit, and I'm not hands-on, but I very much see myself as a carer. The kitchen assistants see themselves as carers. The administrators see themselves, and ultimately the drive is to make sure that, you know, if you were to call me up, that when we were to finish that initial conversation, or if we were to meet and you were to see around the home or do a virtual tour and have a virtual consultation as you know, as we're doing now, that you finish off having more information than you did when you started, you know, with a metaphorical arm around your shoulder.
Great, excellent. Good. So I was going to ask you, well, I'm going to ask you a little bit more about the care home itself, but maybe we could start off by seeing this video you were talking about. You said you've got a little video you can show us of the care home and the facility.
If that's an opportunity. So yeah, let me share my screen and I'll play this video. It's about 1.5 minutes, and we recorded this back in the middle of June, start of July is when we recorded this. So the home's come along quite a way externally, but the shots of Alexander Close, which is the residential community that you're going to see, you know, that is, you know, an accurate representation of what the whole home is looking like. And we're just about 8 weeks away from being able to sort of welcome our first residents. So can you see that? Is that there?
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah. Cool.
So I'll mute myself and play the video. So yeah, I hope you all enjoy this. So yeah, there we go. A little sneak peek.
I must confess, actually, Carl, I have very, very little experience of care homes. I can't remember the last time I went into one, and I really haven't seen. Yeah, I've got very limited experience, but I've certainly been in a few hotels in my time, and that looks very, very like a very, you know, top class hotel. I'm very impressed. Yeah.
Oh.
And do residents spend most of it? Is it like there's like there's bedrooms and there's communal areas? So do the residents spend most of their time in the communal area, or do they tend to spend in the bedroom, or does it vary? Is that?
It's interesting over the years how care home design has changed. So if you were to look at, say, Anisha Grange, which was built back in 2011, so nearly 10 years ago now, the size of our lounges back then have shrunk over the years. So actually, you know, you saw in that video there that actually in our lounge spaces, you've got, you know, small little seating areas that are really intimate, that really sort of foster the, you know, the meeting of new friends and the coming together of families. And then across the home, so on that ground floor, we've got a music room. We had our grand piano delivered last week, and that is going to be a really fantastic event space. We've got a library. On our first floor, we've got a farmhouse kitchen, we've got a roof bar and terrace. We have 2 bars in this care home. There are lots of different spaces, cafe, hair salon, beauty treatment, sort of therapy room. So lots of different spaces, and residence rooms, they're bedrooms. You know, you would, just like when you're at home, you wouldn't spend, you know, all your time sitting in your bedroom. You would be, you know, in your living room, and then eating in your dining room, and then, you know, pottering around your garden. You know, our homes are designed as homes. Residents don't sit around and, you know, in a circle, you know, anymore, like, you know, that image of care that you might see on Panorama. It's you know, it's a home, and, you know, we empower residents to live the life that they wish to live. And we have a lifestyle team which is separate to the care team, so that we can provide that that incredible level of really relationship centered, high quality care. But then again, with the lifestyle team, provide experiences for residents for an activity program that ticks intellectual boxes and ticks creative boxes, and we'll do things that you might not necessarily expect, like an architecture course, or a Cirque du Soleil themed night, pandemic permitting, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, trying to change the way people look at care, for sure.
Many years ago, I used to work as a holiday rep for Thompson Holidays, and in the winter we used to run a program called Young at Heart, where people would go on holiday and stay in the hotel for about 6 or 8 weeks, and we used to run various entertainment and programs for them. It sounds like the same sort of idea. Obviously moved on in time, but it's the same sort of thing about providing them opportunities where they can actually interact with each other, whilst enjoying the time in the home.
Even like the dining experience, so like the dining room, we see meal times as a social occasion. So Matt, who is our head chef, he's got many years experience, and he's also worked in Michelin star restaurants, and this week he's been meeting with a local butchers to see about getting local meat supplies, sausages and steaks, and actually from the local area, as opposed to using a big national. It means that our residents who are moving locally may have been buying their meat from this butcher for decades, and to be able to continue having those same meals, those same quality of food that they've had throughout their life. It's those little home comforts that really make the difference, and then to provide an activity program and an experience program alongside that is both well recognized to them locally, but also challenges them with new experiences. It really just gives a lot of choice and a lot of flavour around the life that they're living.
And what about medical facilities? Do you have them there, or is that something that you do?
So with obviously the care team, they're all highly trained. We will encourage team members to study different qualifications, and our care leadership team have a very sort of technical background. So we're currently recruiting for a dementia care manager, and we're very much looking at that person as a mini general manager within the home, very specialised, very focused. Our deputy manager, Hannah, who's has just gone on maternity leave, she's a registered nurse, and she is very clinically focused. So yeah, they're very highly trained, and then working with the local community, the district nurses, the community dementia nurses, the osteopaths, the speech and language therapists, they will come into the home, and they will support the team to best support our residents. And again, one of the community initiatives we're wanting to set up is encouraging the likes of the district nurses to be able to use the home as a base, so that when they're going out into the community to see your neighbours and members of the community, they've got somewhere warm with Wi-Fi and coffee on tap. So yeah, it's a long-winded answer, but it's there's so much that we will work with. Yeah.
I just had a question actually from someone who's watching and says, what additional measures have you had to put in place since COVID-19?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The world has changed in the last 6 months, and a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about now is absolutely ambitions for the future when we can do this safely. Hallmark has really been leading. It's been ahead of the curve on our infection control policies, and some of you may have attended our infection control webinar back in August with Julie Rayner, who's our clinical lead and infection control lead. And some of the things that we did early on was to tell our team who were maybe bank in their roles, is that when the pandemic starts, you can only work with us at Hallmark. You can't be going to do shifts at the local hospital and then coming into our home. We use this thing called one spray. So when team members arrive in the morning, they spray their hands with one spray that leaves a film over their hands, so that if a piece of virus was to land on their hand or touch something that had the virus on, this wand spray would draw the virus to it and then kill it straight away. And then by having that on your hands, it stays there for 12 hours. And then when we leave again, we use the wand spray, and that gives us almost 24-hour protection. And, you know, we have housekeeping teams here at Hutton View. We have we have our own cleaners who are, you know, going through those motions. We have health declaration forms, so when residents, families, and when visitors come in, we make sure that they are, you know, completing these questionnaires, and we're taking temperature texts, and you know, we're facilitating visits in outside and through screens, and yeah, there's a whole array of infection control policy that's happening behind the scenes, so that when, you know, you guys come and visit us, and when families come and visit us, and when residents are there, it's happening seamlessly, and it's not really noticed because it's embedded in the culture of things now.
Right, okay. And I know also I was going to ask you about, I guess that's again changed because of the coronavirus. You were hoping to open your home to the community in terms of your facilities, so other businesses or residents of Brentwood and Shenfield could share your facilities. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? And obviously, as I say, that may or may not happen in the near future, but certainly I know that's
again, it's all aspirational there. So, you know, it is the intention to eventually be able to, you know, invite in, for example, you know, a local estate agent. You know, they might be wanting to do a presentation on the local property market, and actually some of our residents might have an interest in the local property market. So that estate agent coming in, inviting their clients in to do this presentation in our cinema with a, you know, nice big 4K screen and audio equipment to really give a real wow presentation, would maybe be of interest to our residents to attend. So it's about that you know, sort of supporting the community, but also, you know, supporting our residents at the same time. You know, a local memory cafe might need a larger venue, and we have a roof bar and terrace that will be ample for, you know, a community group to use, with access to the home, and we've got a coffee shop, so you know, there may be a local walking group that then might want to come to the home and then have, you know, tea and cakes afterwards. And, you know, this is all stuff we want to offer to the community with, you know, with you know, no charge, and you know, be able to support the growth of community spirit within Hutton and Shenfield and Brentwood. And it doesn't matter if you're a florist or an insurance broker, there are some ways that something we can offer you in terms of a venue. You know, we're not a closed door community. It's not, you know, we're not insular. We are very much open and wanting to be part of this community. So, but obviously that's for the future, and for now we'll just do lots of webinars to educate the community. Yeah,
but it's really good to hear, and it's an important part of one of the key philosophies of the Chamber of Commerce is obviously bringing businesses together to support each other. Yeah. It's good that you've got that philosophy, and hopefully we can help you to
I remember the first meeting. So when I first came to the Chamber of Commerce, I came to one of your breakfast meet the member events actually, and that was back in February down at Sienna's. And I said to Sally, I was like, if we become members, I want to hold these meetings at the home. I want to invite you guys in, and I want our Michelin star, you know, experienced chef to cook you guys breakfast. And within about 3 weeks of signing the paperwork, lockdown. So yeah, good things come to those who wait.
Yeah, something to look forward to for next year, hopefully. Yeah. Carl, I just want to finish up by asking you one question. You obviously, as I say, you talked about dementia and that, and you talked about still a lack of awareness amongst the general public about dementia. If I could ask you, is there one single message that you would like to send out to our viewers about dementia that would help to increase people's awareness or how people view dementia?
That's a tough question. There
I didn't warn you about this one, did I?
Yeah, there are many questions. There are many messages. I guess the key thing is think about the type of language that we're using. You know, so if you read the newspapers, if you watch television, all you hear is dementia sufferer. This person is a dementia sufferer. This person is suffering with dementia, and the term sufferer brings, you know, connotations of victim, woefulness, sadness, you know, that they're in pain. You know, it's all very negative terminology. Whereas actually, you know, what we believe and what is possible is that if you turn that language and you say something like living with dementia, now this person is living with dementia as a disease, it brings connotation as someone is, you know, they are living their life, you know, they are part of their community, they are, you know, getting on with things. And we're not saying that dementia doesn't bring its challenges. It absolutely does. It's a life-altering disease. But by saying living with dementia or affected by dementia, it takes away that negativity. You know, and I guess if I may, secondly on this, is the difference between dementia and Alzheimer's. So, like when we say cancer, we could be referring to many different types of cancer. It's the same when we use the term dementia. So dementia is an umbrella term, and Alzheimer's disease is just one of over 100 different diseases. But I'll force myself to stop there because I could talk about this for hours.
Yeah, thank you. It's certainly your message about language is obviously, for me as a psychologist, I do realise the power of language and how just subtle changes of words can have a massive impact on how a message is perceived and how.
It's even when we refer to, you know, we should say it's, you know, our residents are older people. They are not old people. You know, we throw away old shoes, but these are older people. Same with elderly. You know, we're just describing, you know, our residents are active members of the community. They have fascinating and unbelievable backgrounds. You know, and just by using the term of older person is you know, again, it has a lot more positivity around it. So,
yeah.
Anyway, soapbox, put it over there.
Yeah. Well, it's been really fascinating talking to you, Carl. Just remind us, what's the opening date of the Hutton View? When's it due to open?
Yeah, so we're aiming to open our care home to residents in early November. Our rooms are being reserved currently, and you know, we're really excited to welcome our residents, the residents of the home, in the next 8 weeks. So very exciting.
Right. Good. Well, thanks very much, Carl. And it's been really interesting. Just to remind those of you who are watching tonight that the webinar will be uploaded onto our YouTube channel and Facebook page tomorrow. We'll send you a link so you can, if you didn't manage to log on right at the beginning and you want to watch it again, or if you've got any colleagues who would like to watch it, then that will be an opportunity for you. The Member Spotlight is a monthly event. We haven't actually finalised the details of the October one yet, but we've got a couple of ideas in the pipeline, so we will be informing you very shortly of who will be the focus of our Member Spotlight in October. If you're watching this and you're interested in yourself or your business being in the Member Spotlight, there's no charge for it or anything. It's just a free service which we offer to our members. Then do get in touch with us at the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll be happy to talk to you about the possibility of running a future Member Spotlight with you. So all that remains for me really is to thank you all very much for joining us this evening, and particularly Carl. It's been very interesting, and obviously wish you all the best with your new home. And hopefully in the not too distant future, myself and many of the other members will be able to come and have a look around your care home. So thanks very much to you all, and goodbye. Thank you.